Hello everyone. I'm going to make this really neat cookie recipe that a friend of mine named Kathy gave me many years ago. She used to be a coworker of mine and I haven't seen her in a while, but she's always been a good friend. And I still have the recipe card that she hand wrote this recipe on. And she called it chocolate fudge cookies. But yet I've seen these cookies called different names, but what they are is they're a no-bake cookie. And so there's chocolate cocoa, there's oats, and there's peanut butter in them. And they're really delicious. And she used to tell me how her and her daughter would make them when they got a craving for something sweet. But the really nice thing about these cookies is that if you have a craving for like peanut butter and chocolate, it's something that doesn't take long at all. This is a very simple, fast, easy recipe to make, and it's no bake. So if you have a craving for some peanut butter and chocolate or something really good, this just takes a few minutes of your time. So I hope you enjoy this recipe. You want to start with a baking sheet, and you want to cover it either with wax paper or parchment paper, because this is where we're going to drop the cookies onto. So you're going to begin with melting your butter first on low. And after you melt that, you're going to want to add your sugar, your cocoa powder, and your milk. And then once you get everything in there, after the butter melts, I always melt that first on low. After that, you add all the other ingredients, the sugar, cocoa powder, and milk, and then you bring it to a boil. And once it reaches a boil, you're going to boil it 2 minutes. Sometimes I go a third minute just because I like to cook it longer. Our butter's melted now, so now we can add our other ingredients. We'll add the sugar, and we'll add our cocoa powder. That's 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 2 cups of white granulated sugar, and a half a cup of milk. Now what we're going to do is turn up the heat, and we want to bring this mixture here to a boil, a full rolling boil, and just boil it. The recipe says 2 minutes. There have been times I've gone over and done 3 minutes, but so this is what we're going to do. Blend it all together and bring it to a boil for 2 minutes, or 3 if you want. Here's our rolling boil, as you can see. You want to set your timer for 2 minutes. Once it reaches this boil here, so here it is. We took it off the stove. You can still see it's boiling right now. So now we're going to add our peanut butter. We're going to add our oatmeal, vanilla, and nuts. If you choose to use nuts. Now, I've never used nuts in this recipe, but it is an option. So I'm going to put a half a cup of peanut butter in it, 1 to 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and I'm going to put, you can put anywhere from 2.5 to 3 cups of oatmeal. Now, I have never liked to put more than 2.5 cups. I've done it once where I put 3. Here's some vanilla. I'm going to put 2 of these. And her recipe says between 2.5 and 3 cups of oats, but every time, well, I've done it twice where I put 3 cups, and it was, to me, it was too much. So I always put 2.5 cups of oats in it. I don't put 3 cups, because to me it's just, they're too dry. And so when you drop them on your baking sheet, they're going to be, you know, wet and liquidy, but when you have too much oatmeal, they're really dry and they dry out too much. So I recommend using 2.5 cups, but I am going to put between 2.5 cups and 3 cups of oatmeal, because that's what the recipe says. But I'll let you be the judge. I think I would start with 2.5 cups, because these will set up real fast and dry. Okay, so once we do that, we can add our oats just kind of little by little. I don't put them all in at once. I kind of blend them, just like I'm doing right now. And as I blend, I add a little more. So we'll just finish adding these oats and I'll be back. Okay, this is the consistency you're gonna want, just like this. So what we're gonna do as soon as we get that is you're gonna get like probably 2 spoons. It makes it a lot easier. And you're gonna get probably about this amount. It's probably about maybe an inch, or like a tablespoon. Just put them maybe an inch or 2 away from each other and put them on the parchment paper or wax paper right away. So that's what we're gonna do. As you can see, they kind of start drying real fast. That's why I personally don't like to put 3 cups of oats, because they do dry out way too fast. So we'll just continue to drop these. They're just drop cookies, so we'll just finish these up. This made just under 3 dozen cookies. There's 33 cookies, and they're about between an inch and an inch and a half in diameter. So let's give these a try. Here they are. They're really good. I've already tried one, but I'm going to show you one, taste one in front of you. So the recipe says that you put these in the refrigerator until they're set, but I have never ever had to do that. So these set up probably, I would say, between 5 and 10 minutes, so it's really fast. The one thing I really like about this recipe is that even though they're a no-bake cookie, they're still cooked. You cook the chocolate, butter, and the milk and sugar. It's all cooked. Even if it's a few minutes, it boils. So it has a really good flavor because it's cooked, but it's easy because it's no-bake. So let's give one of these a try. Really good. I don't know what to compare it like. It's almost like the old-fashioned fudge that you cook on the stove with the cocoa. It has that rich cocoa flavor. But the peanut butter and the oats make it really good. It's hard to believe it would be this easy to make this, but it is. So if you've never tried this, I think you ought to give it a try. I think you'll really like this. I hope it turns out great for you. Thank you.